Where were you born?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised until about 3 months ago.
And where do you reside these days?
I'm in Atlanta now. I live in Atlanta now. Like I said, I've been here for about 4 months now. So, out in the Stone, well, not Atlanta, Stone Mountain, honestly, you know what I'm saying? But I do my thing in Atlanta, so that's what it is for now.
And if people are watching this and they're not familiar with Stone Mountain, how far is Stone Mountain from the city of Atlanta?
That's about like a 36-minute drive or something like that, like 30 to 40-minute drive, to get into the city from Stone Mountain, though. But I spend more time in Atlanta than I do Stone Mountain, so that's why I just say Atlanta. ATL, shorty.
Now, what was the reason for the move there from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to Atlanta, Georgia?
Milwaukee is it's a small market. It's a smaller city, of course, in Wisconsin. So, and we do got a lot of talent there. So, I ended up finding my talent, which is being funny and silly. So it was like once I grew as far as I could go in my city to where like everywhere I walked around, people knew me. Then it got to the point where it was like I expected everybody to know me because they did, you know what I mean? So it was like, what's next? Do I stay here? And then in a couple of years, it's like, oh, he's still here, and your value goes down. Or do I leave, you know what I mean, while I'm up here and just keep branding myself more and more? So I had to make a decision. So that's what it was. I left, came to Atlanta, and everything's just been going up from here.
Why not LA? Why not New York?
New York, honestly, man, it's New York and LA. I'm gonna tell you, New York, it's just a lot of people in New York, man. It's just, I don't know, it's cold. Milwaukee's cold. I don't want to be cold. LA, it's really just maybe too many goddamn fires, man. All them fires and stuff. I think about stupid stuff like that, man. Like fires. I don't want to be down there cutting none of them fires and stuff. And it's too hot there all the time. You know what I mean? So Atlanta, I just felt like, I really believe like Atlanta is the Black Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like, so I just felt like I would fit in better here, And I can still go visit New York and LA, but I'd rather live in Atlanta though. Well, Georgia.
Somebody might say Atlanta could get hit by a hurricane.
Oh, no, huh? They said that?
I mean, that could be a possibility when we're talking about natural disasters.
No, well.
Or tornado.
Them big possibilities, no, them are slim possibilities. I ain't never heard of a hurricane or a tornado hitting Atlanta. And that was one of the reasons I didn't want to leave Milwaukee, because nothing happens to us. All we get is snow, rain, and some floods here, and they're like, it's like, that's like the best place to live if we ever have a World War III. Ain't nobody thinking. We'll be like the last city to get hit. So, I mean, if that happens, it was just meant to happen. But if they give me a warning and tell me to leave, I'm going back to Milwaukee for sure. I'm not going to stay here and wait to see what happens.
I don't know the stats on tornadoes in Atlanta, but I do remember in the history books there was a pretty significant tornado that tore through downtown Atlanta one of these past years.
Like recent? Or like years ago?
Maybe within 5-10 years.
5? Oh, well,
From today?
So that means the pattern, it's a pattern, 5 or 10 year pattern. By then, man, I should be, I don't know, living on the moon or something. Away from everything, I don't know.
I think it was happening during the, I think there was an Atlanta Hawks basketball game that was going on when it hit, and I think it got some of the windows of the CNN building perhaps, and it just went right through downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, well, the good thing is I wasn't here then, you know what I mean? So it happened then, but hopefully it don't happen while I'm down here, you know what I mean? That's the last thing I want, a hurricane. I'm used to snow and rain, that's it, and floods. I want no hurricanes, no earthquakes, no tornadoes. Nah.
When you moved to Atlanta, did you have, were you familiar with the area of Atlanta prior to moving? Did you have friends or relatives in Atlanta already or no?
No, not honestly. I came to visit Atlanta probably like 8 years ago for like the weekend. So I didn't remember nothing really, you know what I mean? Like as far as like where to go and stuff. And I do have a couple friends that's been living down here, you know what I mean? Like doing their own thing and stuff like that. So that was it. But family, no, I don't have one family member down here.
How often do you go? I mean, I know you've only been here for 3-4 months at this point, but how often do you go back to Milwaukee?
Man, I've been back to Milwaukee within this 4 months, at least 4 times already, because before I left, I had bookings. And it's just, I felt like I was going to be missing something in Atlanta. if I would have stayed in Milwaukee and waited for all my bookings to be up. So I was like, I'm just gonna come here and then just go back for those bookings, you know. And then once those are done, I'll just wait a while before I take any bookings back in my city so that I can stay gone for a while and just, you know, grind elsewhere. So.
Certain part of Milwaukee you represent?
Man, the north side, man, 24th and Locust, man, born and raised, man. It's like, it's real rough over there, man. I've seen a lot over there, man. But for me to come from there and then be at where I'm at now and still have everybody over there, like, still respect me and be proud of me no matter what route they went, you know what I mean? Like, it's good, because it ain't always like that, you know?
Paint that picture for us. What was that like growing up in Milwaukee for you?
Growing up in Milwaukee, man, honestly, man, it was wild, man. I grew up in a bad neighborhood. Like I said, 24th and Locust, man. So it was a lot of kids out there without a lot of guidance. So, you know, it wasn't much to do for me as a kid, just play basketball, like, to stay out of trouble. But I still did a lot of negative things, you know what I mean? Like, things that I shouldn't have been doing and stuff like that. But, you know, a lot of struggles, you know what I mean? Like, not having food. Honestly, it's going to sound like the typical story from somebody coming from the hood, you know, but, I mean, that's just what it was, man. So, yeah, growing up in a house with a lot of kids, you know what I mean? Like, it was like 8 kids in one house. So just picture that, sharing beds, clothes, drawers, socks, you know? So it's like when you get older, it's like everything you went through growing up, of course you want to live different now, you know what I mean? So I don't regret anything growing up, you know what I mean? You live and you learn from everything you did, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I've seen a lot of negativity. I've done stuff, you know, when I was younger, you know, but you grow out of stuff, you know, and you just mature and find a different path, man. You know, it was being funny, so I ran with that. You know what I mean?
What were the living arrangements like of these 8 children?
Oh, man, it was terrible, boy. It was 6 girls and 2 boys, and I was one of the boys. Well, I take that back. It was 5 girls and 3 boys. Me, my cousin, and another one. So with all them girls, you already know how that is. They arguing, and you know what I mean. Me and my boy cousins, we always argued and fight. We hated sharing clothes, man, but we had to. You know, money was tight, and especially food time. And when it was time to eat, man, I hated food time because we all little, like we 11 from like 3 to 11. You know what I mean? Probably one kid being 3, but you know when it's time to eat, we didn't have enough bowls for everybody to eat at one time. So they always told me, let the little kids eat first. I'm like, God damn it, motherfucker. Like, we all the little kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, why the hell I gotta wait? Like, you know? And then you always had them cousins that always try to put more food. Like, we had a cousin, like my girl cousin. She had to make our plates all the time, and she was always the one trying to put more food on her plate than everybody else's. You know, so we argued a lot about that, man. You know, so it's just a lot of weird stuff, man. My grandma, my aunties, man, I can go on all day about that.
Well, what were the actual living arrangements like? Was it all 3 boys in one room? You guys had to share a room? And
just like that. Me and my other 2 cousins, we had to sleep in the same room. So it was only 2 beds. So you got 2 on one bed, you know, one up there, one at the bottom, the other one had the other bed, but we rotated that. But the 5 girls had the same thing. 2 beds, but it was 5 girls. You know what I mean? Like, just being honest. And I had uncles and, you know, stuff like that still lived there when I was younger. So that was taking up room and everything. But as a kid, you know, we really ain't think it was nothing bad. You know what I mean? Because we was all kind of still happy. We kids. We happy to be around each other and play with each other until we get mad. But it's like when you get older, you just look back like, God damn, man, we was packed up in that house, boy. You know, so.
Any of these 8 kids actual siblings of yours, like immediate family siblings?
One of them, my sister. The other one was, like, the other ones were all, like, cousins. I mean, I said cousins. All of them were sisters and brothers. My auntie had the other 7 kids. Well, 6 kids. And then it was me and my sister.
And where was mom and dad in the midst of all this for you?
Well, my dad, he was on the road a lot. He played in a band. So, you know what I mean, like that. So he was always just on the road, but then he come home, you know what I mean? So he was still there, but he's basically doing what I'm doing, but he was doing with the road, you know what I mean? But my mom passed away when I was 14, so, you know, that was that, but I was mostly with my dad and my grandmother for the most part.
Dad's still in your life today?
My dad, he just passed away a couple years ago, a day before my birthday. So both parents are gone now, and, you know, that actually motivated me to go. You know what I mean? Like being one of the older brothers, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just felt like me motivating and keep going, it'll motivate my younger siblings, you know what I mean, to push and be like, you know, because it did take a toll on all of us, you know what I mean, but I just refused to stop because at the end of the day, I knew that's not what he would have wanted or she would have wanted, so it was just a matter of, you know, staying focused and just keep going.
I want to clarify two things. You said aunt. Was this that was living in this house that you described? Was it aunt on your mother's side or father's side?
My father's side was my dad's sister. So yeah, she was cool, man. And, you know, I was definitely got to shout my auntie out, man. It's my Aunt Tanya. You know what I mean? She played a big part in helping me, like, you know, help raising me. You know, I was kind of like in the midst of my grandma, my dad, my auntie, my stepmom. Got to shout my stepmom out though. You know what I mean? So between them right there, like, was pretty much who raised me.
And when it came to your parents, was it? And you mentioned stepmother here. Were your parents together at the time, by the time your mom had actually passed when you were 14 years old, or were they split prior to then?
No, they split when I was probably I was like in kindergarten, so I was like 5 years old. They hadn't been together for a while.
I see.
You know what I mean? So, and he was dating my stepmom. So my stepmom has been around for a long time, you know what I mean? So it's, you know, and with that, she had 5 girls, so she treated me like, you know what I mean? She had 5 of her own kids, and it was all girls. So I was like that son she never had anyways, you know what I mean? So that was real different too, so.
So when your parents actually split, do you live with your father, or do you live with your mother?
My mom, how many of us is it? 6 kids. Out of the 6 kids, 2 of us had the same dad. Me and the sister I was telling you that was with out of the other 8 kids, and my dad kept us with him, his 2 kids. But we still was able to see our mom and things like that. But my other brothers and stuff stayed like with my granny on my mom's side and things like that. So we were still able to see her.
Your mom was, you would see her, but was she in your life consistently up to the time of her passing?
Not really, man. So she was, my mom was in the streets. She was like real in the streets. You know what I mean? So she was like, you know, so like people don't, it's a lot to my story, man. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't tell everything. I tell like what I want to know until I'm ready to tell everything. But I can't tell you like my mom was like she was in the streets. You know what I mean? So I did get to see her, but of course I wish it would have been a lot more than what it was. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Are you able to share how she passed away?
I could tell you how she passed, but I don't. It was gunfire. So it was gunfire.
And your father, he passed later in your life, but how did he end up passing away?
From cancer.
You know what type of cancer?
Man, I forgot, man. There's so many different type of cancers out there, man. It was something I had never really heard of when they told us. But yeah, it was like, it took him fast. Once he got it, it just went like boom. You know what I mean? And he died fast. Like they gave him like 2 weeks once he started losing all his weight, and he really passed like in 2 weeks. So yeah, that's what that was, cancer.
Cancer is discovered in different stages, 1 through 4, with 4 being the toughest stage.
When they found out that he was in stage 4, so it was like the worst. But you know how men are though, like when we get sick, like we ignore a lot of signs until we get like, we damn near can't breathe or something. It's like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital. Like, you know, something could be bothering you for years and we'll never say nothing if we still breathing and walking around right, you know what I mean? So I think that was one of those situations with him, and he kind of kept it to himself too, you know, so once it's finally like, oh, I gotta go in, it was like they kept him and they never, you know, he was never able to come home, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And then, you know, he was in the hospital actually about, I want to say about 6 months or something. I don't know. Probably not even that long. I don't remember the exact amount of months, but it was for a while. You know, they was trying to like, I think it was, what is it called, chemo or something? They was giving him all them treatments and stuff. And then it was just like, it was getting to the point where he was just ready to go. You know what I mean? And my pops was only like, my dad was only 54. A fresh 54.
And age can be relative. Somebody watching this might say 54, that's really young, and another person's like 54, he's getting older.
Man, nah, 54, that's young. To me, that's very young. You know what I mean? You know, it's guys still out here running up the court playing basketball. You know what I mean? At 54, like, I think you only as old as you feel and look, you know what I mean? And it really ain't always about looks, because some people can look old, but be a lot, can run with me, you know what I mean? So I really think it's just all about how you feel. If you feel old, you're gonna act old. If you feel young in the heart, you'll act young, you know what I mean? Just take care of your body.
I'm curious to know what type of cancer that was, and if that's something that is just a one-off case with your father, or perhaps maybe that's something that, I don't want to say genetic, but could possibly run in your family.
Well, my grandmother that helped raise me, she passed, I don't remember because I was younger too. That was like in '04 or something. But she passed away from cancer too, but I don't know what, you know what I mean? I don't know what kind it was. So, but to my knowledge, those are the only two people. The other people that passed away were older people in my family, and it was like natural. They were like 85 and 90, and you know what I mean? So that was more of like a natural cause, you know, to my knowledge, unless they kept something from me.
In regards to your mom or your father, was one of those deaths more impactful to you in your life between one another, or was there even, aside from these two, maybe even more of an impactful death in your life that happened to you?
Well, of course, my father was you know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I would say my father mostly because, you know, I was close with him, even though he was on the road a lot. When we came home, we still, you know what I mean? We still spent time and things like that. My grandma was real close, but of course, she was older. Like, I got to know her when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the young grandma. To me, it felt like she was already old from when I remember. Not old as hell, but old. And my mom, I don't really have that many memories. You know what I mean? Like, I got a few memories, but one thing, it does impact me sometimes, because I be like, I wish I knew more about her. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody asks me about her, I can only say so much. Like, it's just like that much information. You know what I mean? So one memory I do hold on to is when she came over to visit me and my sister, and she brought us some Barbie doll. She bought her a Barbie doll, of course, and me like a little basketball court. And she sat at the table and played cards with us. And then that was like the last time I seen her for a while. You know what I mean? And so I always hold on to that. You know what I mean? That's like one memory. But I always be thinking like, I wish that I got to know more. It's like, you know what I mean? Things like that. But my dad, that really like hit me. And it was a day, like literally a day before my birthday. So that really, you know, that really hit me.
Even though you knew he had, or they gave this 2-week window, it still hit you?
Yeah.
I guess, did it hit you? Okay, let me just be a little more clear. Did it hit you, I guess, are we talking what hit you was the impact of his death, or was the surprise of him passing away? Or, I guess me being a little bit more clear on that.
You said, so what the question is, was it the impact of his death or the impact of me finding out that he had cancer?
Yeah, I guess that he died so quick. He's found this cancer is discovered. He's got a 2-week window, and he passes, or more so the impact of, I guess, the age or the way you find out about it, or.
It was, to me, it was more so, like how fast. You know what I mean? Like the 2-week window that they gave. Because in my head, when they say that, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't finna happen. Like, not in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And it literally was 2 weeks. I was riding down the street. My uncle hit me up. I was going to my friend's house, and he called me and said, hey, your daddy just passed away. So I just pulled over. Of course, I cried and everything. And I went straight to my sister. And I got up with my sister. And then we just, you know, I held her and everything like that. Then we just, you know what I mean? I had to make sure she was good and stuff, things like that. And that was that, man. I just, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing really we could do. I just had to be more strong for my sister.
Those 2 weeks, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, yeah, because she's like if you know my sister, man, like, she really like, she like a daddy's girl, you know what I mean? But she's the same with me. I mean, I never heard of a brother's girl, but I mean, the same way she was with my dad, that's how she is with me. Like, my sister would do anything. She can have $1 to her name. If I be like, I need $1, she'll try to give it to me to starve herself for it. But I wouldn't take it because I know she got a big heart, you know what I mean? So she'll do anything when it comes to the men, like me or my dad, you know what I'm saying? With my dad or me. Of course, her kids, but I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, that's just how she is.
Within that 2-week window, that the doctors had given? Did he spend that in the hospital, or did he come back home? I know he had to do the chemo treatments.
Yeah, he was in the hospital. He hadn't came home for a while. He was in the hospital for a long time. So we would go see him, and it was crazy because I didn't want to go see him at first because I'm used to my dad. He's super silly, down to earth and things like that. So I didn't want to go see him like that. You know what I mean? So my uncle, it was crazy because my sister was going up there a lot, and they kept telling me like, you need to go see your dad. I'm like, man, I don't want to see him like that because you know what I mean? They was telling me he started looking different. So it was like I didn't want to. So I finally went to go see him, and he was like, I'm skinny. He was way skinnier than me, and he didn't even had no strength. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't really smile. He couldn't do nothing. But I did get him to laugh. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a bust out laugh, but I got him to smile and laugh. And then I seen him, and then that's when I think that was, yeah, like then literally like that's when they, you know, right after that they gave him 2 weeks, and then he passed. So that was a good feeling. I'm glad I finally did go. You know what I mean? Because I hadn't been in a while, and I'm like, I don't want to see him. I just handle things different. It's not like being lazy or forget my dad. I love my dad, but I just handle things like you know what I mean? My own way. Like, so I didn't really want to go because I just knew it was gonna like tear me down. So I'm like, nah. But they convinced me like, no, you have to go. Like it's coming. We can see it. So I went, and you know, I made him laugh, you know what I mean, right before, you know what I mean? So at least he got to see me because they were saying he really wanted to see me and things. So I finally went, and it was a cool time, but sad at the same, very sad, you know.
You being in comedy, would you attribute this gift that you have from him?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. My dad was a musician, but he was like, to me, he was like a comedian by heart. Like that guy was silly, man. He used to tell me some crazy stories, man. Like, I don't even know what he tell me. One time he told me, he asked me, do I know the difference between a big ass booty and an ass is big or some shit. Something like I don't even remember what he said, man. Then he told me he spent a girl off the ceiling fan before. Like, you know what I'm saying? He said he spent I know he lying, but I was a kid. He told me he spent the girl off the ceiling fan onto his dick, and that's how he fucked her. He told me I had to be creative. And then, what else did he tell me, man? He told me something. Oh, he told me when I start having sex, he said you gotta make sure you're hitting the right spots. I'm like 12. He telling me this stuff. He said, man, I'm telling you, like this how he would talk to me. He said when you hit it, you gotta hit the spot. And he was like, before you even hit the spot, he said you gotta get a can of Pepsi and stick your fingers in it, and then rub it on her coochie. And if she go ooh, he said don't get it. That means she got something. He said don't. That sound like it'll burn anybody though. He told me this for real. Then he said that's what he said. He said I hit a girl. He said I put my dick in. I hit it to the left. He said ooh ooh. He said I hit it to the right. He said ee. He said so. Then I hit it to the left and right. He said ooh ee ooh ee. This is something I'll never forget that he was telling me. I was like 12, man. He used to be serious, but like we knew he was lying. You know what I'm saying? Because my uncle told me, he was like, man, your dad, which is his younger brother, he was like, your dad been telling them same stories since I was a kid. You know what I mean? So it was funny, man. Like he was definitely a character, man. Like he was a character, boy. I got a lot of his traits, man. Like it's crazy when you look back at it. Like a lot of his traits, and it's weird.
Did you attend his funeral?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I had to do that. Like I wasn't gonna not. You know what I mean? I knew I had to be there, just say that last goodbye, and then most definitely for my little sisters, you know, and I got a little brother as well. 2 little sisters and a little brother.
How did you cope since his passing? How did you deal with that?
Man, I just tried to stay busy. You know what I mean? Because you still have them nights, them days when you break down. You know what I mean? Like you'll break down and you think about it, you cry. Like to this day, I do it with my mom, my grandma, and my dad. Like you just had them days, but I just try to stay busy, stay occupied, and just motivate myself. Like, what would he want you to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can't physically hug me or something and be like, hey, I'm proud of you. But I know he would do it if he was here. Even my grandma, you know what I mean? I'm assuming my mom would. That's still my mom. You know what I mean? She birthed me. So I know that if she would have been around more, she still loved us and cared just as much as if she was there from day one. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's just trying to stay busy. Just stay busy to occupy my mind.
Do you ever seek counseling or therapy for his death, your mom's death, your grandmother's death, perhaps?
No, man, because I mean, like, I'm like a secretive person, not on purpose. I just like to handle my things the way I am. And when I'm ready to talk about it, I'll talk about it if I want to. But if not, it's like I can be going through so much and nobody even know. I'll still be smiling, making the videos, doing all this, and nobody would never know what I've been through, what I seen, how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Like, only way, I mean, if I get mad, that's different. That ain't got nothing to do with no built up anger from what I've been going through in my life. That's just, I'm tired of you specifically, so leave me alone. You know what I mean? But as far as like everything that I go on, like, yeah, I be real secretive, not on purpose. But it's just how I handle things. You know what I mean? I've always been like that. When it comes to like problems, in my head, I'm like, I just figure it out. Cause like crying about it to everybody, you know, that ain't gonna get nothing done. Just people feeling sorry for you, and I just like, nah, let me just deal. I just stay in my own lane by myself till I'm ready to talk to somebody, you know?
At this point in your life, do you feel like you need it now?
No, I've been doing good, so, you know what I mean? On my own, like just handling it the way I've been handling it, you know what I mean? If it ever got serious where I felt like it was breaking me down to where, you know what I mean, I don't do drugs or none of that anyways, you know? But if it got to that point where I was just stressing about that, where I was, you know, then that's the only way I would need some counseling. But right now, you know, I'm doing perfectly fine handling it on my own.
Someone going through the death of a parent, and I know circumstances could be different for everybody, but let's say somebody's watching this interview, hearing your story, and maybe they're going through these motions themselves with theirs. Is there anything you would say to them?
Oh man, just stay occupied. I mean, same thing I did. Like, I about to just tell you, like, keep your mind occupied. You know what I mean? Like, just don't give up. Like, you know, because I know everything takes a toll on people different. You know what I mean? Like, what works for me might not work for the next person. You know what I mean? So it was kind of hard to tell them what to do. But I mean, like I said, what I did, I just kept my mind occupied away from the situation. Because you'll never forget anyways. But if you're just sitting around not doing nothing, I mean, you don't have nothing else on your mind but to think about all the negative things that's going on in life, period. You know what I mean? So if you keep your mind occupied and doing things to entertain yourself, you know, it might just be temporary. You know what I mean? But it's like, keep yourself busy a lot then. If you need to, do whatever you need to do to help get over the situation. Because sitting around just like moping about it and things like that, you're not gonna really get nothing done. You know, you're sitting around whining. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, life has to still go on at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I just say, yeah, like I said, just keep your mind occupied, man, and just stay strong. And because at the end of the day, it ain't just about you anyways, especially if you got siblings. Somebody has to be the stronger one. And with me, that's how I felt with my sister. Like, I could sit around and mope, but I know how sensitive she is and how she takes everything to the heart. So with that being said, it's like, okay, let me be the stronger. Then my little brother and my little sister, you know, they of course, they a little younger, but you know, they live in a different city from me anyway, so I don't, you know, I talk to them enough, but it's just different because I was right next to this specific sister, you know what I mean? But anytime they need somebody to talk to, of course I'm there. If they need to talk about my dad or something like that, you know, they got questions or things like that, I'm there for them to let them know what's going on and how to handle it, you know.
What did his death teach you? What did you learn from that?
Man, just okay. You saying from how he died? Did it teach me something? Or you just saying period?
It could be how, it could be period. It could be...
how he died, of course, it wants me to just be, okay, let me take care of my body a little better. You know what I mean? I don't know how he got it. It could be genetics. I don't know. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's like, let me try to start eating right and take care of my body. Hopefully that'll make me live longer. But as far as him passing away, it makes me, at 54, it makes me just appreciate life a little more. Because like I said, 54 is young to me. So it's like, I want to live life to the fullest because you never know when you're going to go. I could go before 54. You just never know, you know what I'm saying? Or 54, that's young. I don't want to be like, what did I do in 54 years? What if I haven't accomplished nothing? You know what I mean? So it's like, just live your life to the fullest. Don't let nobody, like, you know, stop your happiness. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you know, can struggle with things like that, you know what I mean? Where you let other people allow you from being happy, and you can't do that, especially when you only live in one life. You got to learn how to, you know, control your moods on your own. Because while we sitting around mad, well, you know what I'm saying? Somebody make me mad as hell, and I'm sitting around mad. This person walking around still living their best life. They happy. You know, they happy they made us mad, but we sitting around walking around mad as hell for no reason. So it's like, just live life to the fullest, like 100%. YOLO. Don't care what nobody think about you, what nobody say. At the end of the day, you live your own life. Don't nobody that anybody that says anything about how I'm living my life, they're not the one who tells me my death date. They're not the one who tells me if I'm gonna be famous. And you know what I mean? Like they say so don't really mean nothing. It's just their personal opinion. So I don't really care what nobody say. So live your life to the fullest. You don't know when your expiration date is.
Did his death change your direction of comedy at all?
No, I still stayed. I'm very energetic, witty. You know, I still kept my same. You know what I mean? I haven't even talked about him yet on stage because I don't think I'm ready. Because I still, you know what I mean? It's hard when I talk about him. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, I still be trying to wait a little bit. Like, okay, because if I get on stage, I don't want to be telling nothing about my dad. And then I start getting emotional. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be funny stories, but it's going to be memories. So I'm just like waiting on that. But I definitely got, you know, I definitely can't wait to talk about him on stage. But yeah, other than that, like, no, it hasn't really changed like how I do my set or nothing.
At the time of his death, he was still with your stepmom, in a relationship with your stepmom?
No, they actually had been separated for about a few years before then. Yeah, so, but I mean, I don't change me and her relationship. You know what I mean? That's still my stepmom. She's been around since I was young, you know, super young. So, and she treats me just like she birthed me. You know what I mean? Like, to this day, like, she didn't ever act different because they wasn't together. You know what I mean? She's still like a regular mom.
And speaking of her, well, when they were together and you were growing up and they were around you, it sounds like you had a good relationship with your stepmother?
Oh, yeah. I had a real great relationship with her, man. You know, she, like I said, she treated me like I was her own. She never made me feel like an odd kid, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, she had 5 kids, but they were all girls. So I was like that one son she never had, you know what I mean? And even with my sister, when my dad brought he had me and my sister, so it was 2 of us, and we was living together. That was another house full of people, you know what I mean? So it was really 6 girls and me, you know what I mean? But she never act different, you know what I mean? She come to the school, check on me, she disciplined me when I was big, you know what I mean? But she never did nothing weird for me to feel different, you know what I mean? And she accepted my little sister as well, you know? With her having 5 girls, that means she, you know what I mean? Like, to accept another girl, that was pretty dope to me as well.
Now, I do these types of interviews all the time, especially with people that have a step-parent come into the mix. Do you think her not treating you, and I've heard of bad relationships between, step-kid and step-parent. Do you think your relationship was really good because she had the dynamic of not treating you any different than her own kids? Do you think that's what led to a good relationship with her, perhaps, or was it something else?
Man, she just had a good heart, man. She was just a good woman. You know what I mean? So I feel like it don't matter. Even if it wasn't my dad, like, just from being around, even if it wasn't my dad, she would have messed with another guy. The way, like, seeing how big her heart is and what kind of person she was going to accept whatever. Unless you would have been some bad problem child, I still don't think she would have not accepted you because, I mean, she a grown woman, you know what I mean? But she helped me. Man, she always believed in me, you know what I mean? Always pushed me. Like, she was very motivational, you know what I mean? And she never whooped me either. Like, she would sit down, but she never whooped her kids either. She sit down and have the motivational talk to you, like, let you know. And it was crazy because that was probably worse than a whooping because it would make you feel so bad, but she cared. But she wasn't telling you, like, you couldn't do nothing, you're stupid or nothing like that. But she would basically break it down in words, telling you how you should be ashamed of yourself and things like that of what you did, and she expect more out of you. You know, it was like a letting you know how bad you did, but bring you back up at the same time. But then it had you thinking so deep. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Like, you know, I would have rather just got the whooping and just went outside and played again.
I mean, what you're talking about is almost like, you know, a sitcom on television. You know how, like, it comes to that and they put the sad music and then the parent is talking to the child and letting know what they're scolding them, but then they're lifting them up, and then it's a good ending to the TV premise for that show.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly how it was, man. But, you know, you thinking about it all day, but I know now that I'm older, she knew what she was doing, man. It was like a mind manipulation, but in a good way. You know what I mean? To be like, oh, she believed in me, but at the same time, you're like, damn, I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never want to let her down, but I mean, I was a boy, so I did a lot.
Now, again, I want to see what you would say to somebody watching this, and again, circumstances could be different with everybody, but let's say somebody's watching this, listening to your story, hearing you, and they have to deal with a step-parent themselves. Is there anything you would say to a kid that's going through those motions right now?
Man, be respectful, give somebody a chance, because a lot of kids, I ain't gonna say a lot of kids, some kids get step-parents, and it's the kid. I ain't gonna always say, it could be the adult too sometimes, but I don't see why that person will be with someone if they don't, if they don't like their kids, you know what I mean? So in my head, if they become as one, and then in my mind, you accepted the fact that she has a kid or he has a kid and we're a family now. So with that, like, kids can't just hold on to the fact that their real biological parents aren't together anymore. So don't just take all that negativity over to this situation. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's about your dad or your mom being happy. If this lady or man is not treating you wrong, just be very respectful and just do what you need to do. Like, you know what I mean? In school, at home, and things like that. And then, I don't feel like you should ever bump heads or nothing like that. So it's pretty much just about respect, man, because some kids, they just don't have respect for a step-parent. They'll come in already with an attitude, don't even really get to know the parent. They just, this ain't my mama. I seen kids do it. When I was younger, my little cousins was doing, that ain't my real daddy. All right. Like, why you so mad? This man ain't did nothing to you yet. You know what I mean? You ain't got this man a chance or nothing. This man trying to get to know you, or this woman trying to fill you out, but you so negative all the time, it's like hard to reach to you, you know what I mean? So, but in my mind as an adult, you have to learn how to get to that kid. You can't get mad at the kid. Then to me, that's stupid. Don't get mad at the kid, like, fuck the kid. It's a kid. Find out. Now you got to become in teacher mode. You got to find out how to get into the mind of that kid and figure out how you can get to that kid's heart or into his head to let him know that you're safe and that you're about them now. So just give them a chance, be respectful, give them a chance.
Did this split of your parents affect you in life? Hindsight 2020, thinking about you growing up and your past, and I know there's times you said you've done some negative things and things of that nature. Do you think the split had something to do with those negative things you did or the outcomes to those things, or just curious if this split affected you in any type of manner?
I don't think it was a split at all because I was so young, you know what I mean? So the things that I did was just me being in the neighborhood, at times being a follower, just taking risks. He was a little boy growing up in the ghetto, man. So it was like, it really wasn't too much to do. But like I said, play basketball, cans, tag. We wasn't doing that. Sometimes you just want to get in some trouble, you know what I mean? You want to throw rocks at cars. You want to play ding-dong ditch. You want to call a woman a bitch and run. Like, we was doing stupid stuff, man. Like, it was all type of stuff, man. We did so much. Can't say everything, but it was a lot of stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, God has a lane for everybody, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of those guys I'm still friends with, but they don't, they got their own life. You know what I mean? They still do whatever they do, but me, I chose the lane that I chose. And like I said, they still love me like a brother because I grew up with them from, since we was all like in kindergarten, and they respect it. So even to this day, they always write me, show love, like, I'm so proud of you, man. You know what I mean? Things like that. And it don't always be like that. Once you leave your city, or especially a area where you grew up in and it was ghetto, and then you leave, and they be like, he think he different now. They never got that. Because I still go over there, even to this day. If I'm in my city, if it's hot outside, I'll stop over there for a little bit and hang with them. You know what I mean? But then I leave and go my way. But it's cool. So it's still like, it's like a family vibe. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. It's cool.